Hey everyone, it is a lovely, if not somewhat muggy, summer evening here in the city of Wenzhou. You can hear the middle-aged folks are doing their dancing in the town squares. Kids are playing basketball and my dog is running laps around the park. And there was some very exciting news not so long ago. The movie theaters reopened. This was a very big milestone because movie theaters are prime conditions for the spreading of a disease. So the fact that the government felt comfortable to have them reopened even partially was a big thing. In a theater, obviously, many people are sitting close together, and more importantly, there is minimum air circulation. Right from the beginning of the epidemic, everyone was encouraged to keep their homes, their offices, just any room they were in as well ventilated as possible to minimize the risk of infection. In fact, this last semester in the school where I work, we were instructed to keep the windows in the classroom open at all times, which was a little obnoxious because it meant that the air conditioning was pretty much pointless, and it can get rather hot here in the spring and the summer, so it was uncomfortable, but we did what we had to do. So anyway, I was very happy when the movie theaters reopened. I'm a cinema junkie myself. There were restrictions, naturally. We had to get our temperatures taken before going in. Customers are required to wear masks. And at first, theaters were only allowed to fill up to a certain percentage of their capacity. I think tickets, from what I could tell, you couldn't buy tickets the day of the screening. You had to buy it before so that they could closely monitor how many people were going to be in there. And once you did get in there, the first movie I went to see, entire rows were strung off. In some spots, and in other spots, it was like every other chair was strung off. So I think it was, one, making sure that people didn't sit right next to each other, and two, ensuring that only a certain number of seats were available, period, for people to sit in. And even more interesting than that, currently there are no new releases in the theater, just older, more popular movies. I'm not sure why. I guess a big reason could be that just there have been no movies in production recently, because everybody's been in quarantine. Also, too, for a lot of movies, I heard somebody say that if a movie was produced in the United States, that it has to be released in the U.S. first before it can go overseas. So that might explain why no American movies are here, which would make sense. It was kind of nice, though. Actually, it seemed like the movies that were released at first, when the theaters were first allowed to reopen, were mostly like feel-good movies, whether it was, patriotic, feel-good, or just uplifting or encouraging. Just a general tone of positivity seemed to be in the movies, which was nice. I appreciated that. The first movie I went to see was called Wolf Warrior 2. Very, very, very famous movie made in China released about 3 years ago. And then more recently, I went to see a movie about World War I. Obviously not quite so feel good, but, theaters have been open for a little while now, and they just keep bringing in new, different movies, that have been previously released. I think right now Harry Potter is in some theaters. Pursuit of Happiness was one of the first movies that was allowed to be released. But it's exciting. It's very very nice to have that back and to have that experience again, even if it's not, for any new films. And I'm very thankful, and I'm looking forward to the days when I can go to a brand new release on a Friday night and the entire theater is full to bursting. Hopefully that will happen again soon. So love you guys. Take care. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.